You're probably waiting for your life to finally change because some giant moment, right? Some huge opportunity, some perfect timing, some magical burst of motivation that suddenly transform you into a completely different person overnight. But most people never realize that their entire future is usually decided by one small choice they almost ignored. One conversation, one risk, and maybe even one moment where they either moved forward or they stayed comfortable. And that's the scary part about life. The biggest turning points, they rarely look important while they're happening. They look ordinary, they look tiny, they easy to delay, but years later, you realize that everything changed because of that one decision. And the truth is, your life right now is the result of thousands of decisions stacking on top of each other. Every habit you repeated, every excuse you accepted, and every opportunity you avoided, and every time you said, I'll start tomorrow. Your current reality didn't appear out of nowhere. It was built piece by piece through choices. And that should actually excite you because if decisions created the life you have now, different decisions can create a completely different future. And most people, they stay stuck because they overestimated how hard success is supposed to look. They think transformation has to feel dramatic, but success is usually boring in the beginning. It's waking up early when nobody notices. It's learning skills after work when your brain is tired. It's posting content when nobody watches. That's me. It's saving money instead of showing off. It's going to the gym when progress feels invisible. It's the tiny choices repeated long enough become identities, and identities create outcomes. People love to say they want change, but they don't actually want to make different decisions. They want a new life while protecting every old habit that created the current one. And that's impossible. You can't keep choosing comfort and expect confidence, and you can't keep avoiding risk and expect growth. You can't keep scrolling through every other people's lives and while ignoring your own and somehow expect fulfillment. Every day you're voting for the person you're becoming, one vote at a time, and eventually them votes add up. Think about how many successful people completely changed their future from one uncomfortable choice. One person applied for a job they thought they'd never get. Another person started a business while almost no money, and someone uploaded a video even though they were terrified of being judged. Somebody moved to a new city, and somebody walked away from a toxic relationship. Somebody finally decided they were tired of living the same year over and over again. The decision itself didn't magically solve everything. It simply changed the direction, and direction is more important than speed. That's something people forget. You do not need to instantly become widely successful. You just need to stop heading the wrong way. Imagine being on a highway going 1,000 miles in the wrong direction. Speed means nothing if the direction is broken. One correct turn changes everything, and the most people are addicted to waiting. Waiting for confidence, waiting for certainty, waiting for motivation, waiting until they feel ready. But the people who change their lives understand something important. Readiness is a myth. Almost nobody feels fully prepared before they take a huge step. Confidence usually appears after action, not before it. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is deciding something matters more than your fear. And the people you admire are not fearless superheroes. They're just made decisions while scared. And because they acted, their lives expand while everybody else has stayed frozen in place. Another reason people stay stuck is because they underestimate the power of momentum. One good decision creates another, and you go to the gym once, and suddenly eating healthier feels easier. And you upload one video, and the next one becomes less terrifying. You save your first $1,000 and start thinking differently about money. Momentum changes your identity. Identity changes your standards, and standards, they change your outcomes. That's why one decision can truly alter everything. It starts a chain reaction. Your brain begins adapting to a new version of yourself. And once you see the progress, even tiny progress, your entire mindset starts shifting. And suddenly impossible things begin looking achievable. But here's the uncomfortable truth. And nobody wants to hear this. Staying where you are is also a decision. Doing nothing is still a choice. Avoiding a risk is a risk. And every year, people convince themselves they're being safe by staying in the same place. But sometimes, the most dangerous thing you can do is refuse to grow, and time keeps moving whether you acted or not. 5 years will pass either way. The question is whether you'll arrive there stronger or still making excuses. And one day you will either say, I'm glad I tried, or I wish I started sooner. And regret is heavy, especially when deep down you knew you were capable of more. One of the biggest lies modern culture tells people is that motivation creates action. Most of the time it's actually the opposite. Action creates motivation, and nobody feels motivated every single day. I'm not today. People who accomplish big goals are not constantly inspired. They just stop negotiating with themselves. They understand discipline is often more reliable than emotion. Feeling change every hour. Decisions can change your life forever. And that's why successful people build systems instead of depending on mood. They've removed the excuses. They create the routines. They stop asking themselves if they feel like it. They simply decide who they want to become and start acting accordingly. And eventually the results catch up. Another thing people overlook is how much environment shapes decisions. If you surround yourself with negativity, laziness, and people who mock ambition, your decisions they shrink. But when you place yourself around driven people, you understand rise naturally. Energy spreads, mindset spreads, expectations spread, and sometimes one decision that changes your life is deciding with no longer gets access to your mind. Protecting your force is powerful because distractions are expensive. And every hour wasted comparing yourself to strangers online is an hour stolen from building your own future. Every excuse repeated long enough becomes a belief, and belief controls your decisions. The good news is, though, you don't need to fix your entire life tonight. You don't need to have every answer. You don't need a perfect roadmap. You just need the one honest decision, one real commitment, one moment where you stop waiting for permission and start taking ownership of your future. Maybe your decision is finally starting that channel. Maybe it's going back to school. Maybe it's getting healthy. Maybe it's cutting off what keeps draining you. Maybe it's finally believing you are capable of more than survival mode. Because the truth is, your future is not built in one giant cinematic moment. It's built through repeated choices that slowly shape your identity. And someday, people will look at your life and think you got lucky. They'll never see the nights you kept going when nobody cared. They'll never see the fear you pushed through. They'll never see the small decisions that quietly changed your life in an entire direction. But you'll remember the exact moment you stopped settling, the exact moment you decided your future mattered more than your comfort. And years from now, you may realize you were never as far away from changing your life as you thought. You were always just one real decision away from everything. All I ask today, if you found value in today's video, just subscribe. We're looking to build this channel. Without subscription base, we can't remain on YouTube and grow. And I want to grow this channel. We need that subscription base. So if you found value in today's video, just subscribe. That's it. We'll see you guys tomorrow.